Good evening. Welcome back to Hellhound's Late Night Spook Show here on the Horror and Metal channel. So I already did my top 10 favorite metal singers video. Then I did top 10 metal guitarists and top 10 metal bassists. So I figured, why not? Let's go ahead and do drummers. Yeah. These are going to be my top 10 favorite metal drummers. Yeah, I'm not a drummer, and nor do I know a whole lot about drumming, so I couldn't really tell you why one drummer is better than the other. If somebody actually plays drums, would be better at this, but I do know it sounds good to my ears, and so let's go get started. All right, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but yeah, number 10 is going to be none other than Ian Pace from Deep Purple. He's the only member who's been on every album. He's one of the founding members. He's been there since its inception, and he's still doing it to this day. I think he's very underrated, and like as far as hard rock drummers go, we always hear, the names John Bonham, Neil Peart, and Keith Moon tossed around. But I think that Ian Pace is actually very, just as good. I think he's like very underrated. Yeah, I love Deep Purple, and he's a huge reason why. His drum beats and his skills on the kit are immaculate. So yeah, Ian Pace is my 10th favorite heavy metal drummer. And I do consider the Ian Gillan fronted version of Deep Purple a traditional heavy metal band. Number 9 is going to be Mickey D, who played for King Diamond, most notably on Abigail, and Motorhead. Yeah, Mickey D is a very competent drummer. He's got some serious chops, and I would love to have a drummer like him in my band. Actually, having said that, the drummer in my band is really, really good too. He's just amazing. And hopefully I can have a video of us playing. You guys can see how skilled he really is. Yeah, he's a phenomenal drummer. Very happy to have him in my group. All right, number 8, Charlie Benante from Anthrax. I think he's very underrated, actually. You don't hear him talked about a whole lot. There's no denying that he has a tremendous amount of skills. Yeah, he lays those beats down like it's nobody's business. Yeah, Charlie Benante and his nephew, Frank Bello, the bass player, make up an adequate rhythm section. More than adequate, I should say. Highly sufficient. All right, number 7. Number 7 is going to be a tie from 2 drummers from the same band. It's going to be Clive Burr, whose last album with the band was Number of the Beast, Rest in Peace. He was an amazing drummer. He was replaced with Nico McBrain. His first album with the band was Peace of Mind, and he's still there to this day. And I'm going to be seeing Iron Maiden live next month, and I can't wait to see old Nico. Yeah, they're both great drummers. Clive and Nico were both equally great in my opinion. I can't decide one or the other. Again, I don't know a whole lot about drumming. I'm sure some drummer out there can say, oh, Nico's better because yada, yada, yada. Or Clive was way better because this and that is, technical precision and all that. It's like, I don't know. I'm not a drummer. I don't know much about drumming. I know the difference between a bass drum and a tom and a hi-hat and a snare, but that's about it. I couldn't tell you why somebody's a better drummer than somebody else. I just know it sounds good to my ears. I'm sorry. I'm a guitar player. I don't know much about drums. All right, number 6 is going to be Scott Travis from Judas Priest. His first album with the band was Painkiller. And when I saw them live, Scott Travis did an amazing job. Wow, is he just fierce and aggressive on the drums. Yeah, they've had a lot of different drummers. There's been John Hinch, and Les Binks, and Dave Holland, and Alan Moore, but I think Scott Travis might have to be my favorite. Again, of all the Judas Priest drummers, I really like Scott Travis. He was probably the heaviest one they've ever had, and he's just amazing. Yeah, Scott Travis from Judas Priest, one of my favorite drummers. Number 5 is going to be another tie between 2 members who were in the same band at different times. Bill Ward from Black Sabbath and Vinnie Apasey from Black Sabbath, whose first album with the band was Mob Rules. He was almost always on the Dio-fronted version of the band, except for the album Heaven and Hell, which was the first with Dio, featuring Ronnie James Dio's amazing vocal prowess. For more info on him, see my top 10 vocalists video. But yeah, Bill Ward and Vinnie Apasey. Vinnie Apasey, of course, was the younger brother of Carmine Appice. Yeah, they pronounce their last names different. I know it's weird. From bands like Vanilla Fudge and Cactus and several others, and he's really, really skilled as well. So they come from a family of amazing drummers, and of course, sounds like Vinnie Apasey was classically trained. It sounds like he has some training. Maybe he learned something from his older brother. I don't know. Bill Ward, however, considers himself a percussionist, and the Sabbath sound would not be complete without Bill's amazing drumming. Yeah, his skills on the drum kit are just incredible. And of course, Vinnie Apasey also played with the Dio band for a while, on and off. Yeah, such as this album here, Holy Diver, the debut of the Dio band. Him and Dio were good friends, and for a while there, wherever Ronnie went, Vinnie went. They made a great team. All right, now number, we are now 4, I believe. Yeah, number 4, Nick Menza from Megadeth. Rest in peace. He was part of my favorite lineup, which also features the tremendous talents of guitarist Marty Friedman, one of my favorite guitarists ever. Yeah, him and Nick Menza made a great pair. That was an awesome lineup. I would have loved to have seen that lineup live, such as when they had this album, Rust in Peace, the first one to feature Nick Menza and Marty Friedman. Yeah, that would have just been awesome, because Nick Menza was a beast. Once again, rest in peace. Number 3 is going to be Gene Hoagland, who's been in a lot of bands, and I mean a lot of bands. So many bands, but he was with Testament for a while. When I saw Testament live a few years ago, he was their drummer. He's not with them anymore. Now Dave Lombardo plays for Testament. More on him in a minute. I don't have any of the Testament albums with Gene Hoagland, such as Demonic and a couple others. But I do have Darkness Descends by Dark Angel, which I kind of consider his main band. Yeah, I love Dark Angel. I think they're kind of underrated. Great thrash metal band. And Gene Hoagland's a huge reason why. Oh yeah, that guy's amazing. He's a true virtuoso. I really like when he is part of the same rhythm section as bassist Steve DiGiorgio, who I talked about in my last video, the top 10 metal bassists. And also got Symbolic by Death, which is probably my favorite performance of his with the band Death. He was on another album too, but I think that Symbolic is his best work with this band. Yeah, love me some Death. And Gene Hoagland is my favorite drummer they've ever had. They've had some great drummers too, you know, Chris Reifert, Bill Andrews, so many great drummers, but Gene Hoagland is my favorite, and he's a true virtuoso. Like I said, the man can do no wrong. His drum beats are just insane. All right, number 2 is going to be Pete Sandoval from Morbid Angel, who's sadly no longer with the band. Yeah, there's no denying that this man is way too talented for his own good. He's one of the fastest drummers out there. Just insane. His speed is just intense, so fast, so aggressive, so venomous and violent, and just so incredibly lightning fast. Yeah, he's one of the fastest drummers in the world, bar none. And he's just amazing. So yeah, Pete Sandoval from Morbid Angel, my second favorite drummer, and probably one of the fastest drummers alive, which is very impressive to say the least. All right, for honorable mentions, I'm going to leave them in the description below, so be sure to check the description box for my honorable mentions drummers. For the number 1 choice is going to be none other than Dave Lombardo from Slayer. I saw Slayer live back in 2008 when they had Dave. Then I saw them again in 2018 when they had Paul Bostaph, who's another really great drummer. Paul Bostaph's great too. He's played for a lot of bands as well. But Dave Lombardo is my favorite drummer of all time. Again, I don't know a whole lot about drums, but I know that his drumming sounds amazing to my ears. It's like butter. And yeah, the man is really talented. He's really, really fast too. His technical precision on those beats is just phenomenal. Yeah, freaking love Dave Lombardo. He's been in quite a few bands too. He's also played with Testament. He's in Testament now, actually. So if I ever see Testament live, Dave will be there, which is pretty cool. He was on this really underrated album, The Gathering, which I mentioned in my last video when I talked about Steve DiGiorgio. Again, great rhythm section. But yeah, Dave Lombardo from Slayer, from Testament, sorry, getting tongue-tied, and several other awesome bands. He's my favorite drummer ever. Number 1 favorite drummer, Dave Lombardo. All right, guys, well, be sure to let me know what your favorite drummers are in the comments below. As always, I'm Hellhound. Thank you for watching the Horror and Metal channel. Till next time, later.